Hey guys, today's video will be about the best college apps to use. So you open it up and you see a awesome picture of my boyfriend. But when you go to the left, here are some apps that I use to just check about what's going on with the day, like the weather, the news app, and also the Bible app and Wunderlist, which is where what I use for homework and assignments and things like that. So I have at the bottom of this page a bunch of apps, but Twitter and Snapchat are by themselves. So you guys should follow me on Twitter at Born Sinner. You should follow my Snap. See how I'm recording right now. But follow me on Snap at Sean Kristen and my Instagram at King Shawnee. So let's start with the top left corner. And these are the apps that I mainly use for school. The first app on the left is my Blackboard app, and that's where all of my courses are and my grades and assignments. The next app is the Xavier app, and most of the time your university should have their own app. And Xavier's is like this. It has just important things for you to see and to check out, and I think it also has a link to Blackboard, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, it does. So you just click on these things and it helps you get to um, different resources for school. Also, I have the Wunderlist app, and that's where, of course, all of my homework is, what other assignments I need to do, and I have only a few more assignments left for the year. Thank you, Jesus. The next app is OrgSync, and OrgSync is what the organizations on campus use, and it looks like a Twitter feed, I guess, and it basically shows what different organizations have going on around campus. And you should definitely check this app out very often if you decide to go to Xavier, because they like to update with freebies or just with things that most people wouldn't get a chance to see because they rarely check the app. The next app is the Bite app, and this app is really helpful if you want to eat in the caf. So you just go to your menu and you pick your school, and it lets you know what's going on for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I like to use this app before I go to the caf just so that I don't waste a swipe. The next app is Unidays, and Unidays is what most college students should definitely have because it gives you discounts on a bunch of different clothing places, electronics, things like that. So if you don't have it, you need to get it. The next app is the Barnes and Noble College Bookstore app, and I use this to rent out books or buy books, and it reminds you of when you need to return them. So I need to return 2 of them by May 10th, and I will not forget. The next app is Uber, and everybody knows what Uber is, of course, but I do have my car on campus, but sometimes I don't feel like driving, or some of my friends may need to get around, so we take the Uber instead. And sometimes it's a hit or a miss, but you should definitely have it if you don't have a car. The next app is Yuzu, and Yuzu is a part of Barnes and Noble, and this is where if you rent or buy an online textbook, this is where it'll be. And the only book that I have in here is for my Intro to PCs class. So the next app is Duolingo, and I took 4 years of Spanish in high school, and at Xavier you have to take 6 credit hours of a foreign language. So I just like to use Duolingo to remind myself of just basic Spanish terms so that I'm not slacking when I actually get to my foreign language classes. The next app that I have is Podcast, and I only had one professor that made us use this app last semester, and it was for Shakespeare, and we would just listen to things about Shakespeare and race, and it was actually very interesting. So sometimes a professor might suggest that you use this app. The next app is Docs, and it's a simple app. It shows you all of the docs that you have. It's very resourceful because sometimes you might forget that you need to have have a paper due in class, and so you can just quickly get on the app and send it to your professor or something like that. And I also use Sheets just to organize things with FreshU HBCU, so you get to see all of those nice things. And that is it for my school part. The next part is basically where I keep all of my money things. So I have the wallet app because I do use Apple Pay. I have Cash App. If you guys want to Cash App me, you know you can. Your girl is broke. Somebody will eventually try to Cash App you some type of money. I have the Chase bank account app on here just so that I can check my balance. I have the Green Dot app because my grandparents gave me and my cousins and my sibling a Green Dot card for Christmas. And I also have the Amazon app because sometimes I just like to check when there's something cool on their app. And I have Poshmark on here, but I rarely use it, so I probably should delete it. Next, I have games because sometimes I do get bored, and sometimes I have time to play these games, but not often. Um, and next, you should definitely have some type of health app on here. The first one is Clue, and that's like a menstrual cycle tracker. The next is the health app, and I use it sometimes, but I should probably use it more, especially if I do decide to get an Apple Watch, and it connects with all of your health things, and it's actually kind of interesting. The next one is Round, and if you take medicine like I do on a daily basis, you should definitely have this app so that it reminds you when you need to take your medicine. At the bottom, I have my messages, the weather, the clock, and these are like alarms, and some of them I need to delete. So I have two that I wake up to, and I don't use a lot of alarms to wake up in the morning, so that's usually helpful. But these are the only two that I use on a daily basis. Next, I have the Safari app, but I use it most of the time. So the next one is Slack, and that is what I use for FreshU HBCU, and that's how I communicate with my writers and with the social media team and important people. Next is GroupMe, and everybody needs GroupMe because you will always have some type of group project to do, or that's probably where your class GroupMe is, and all of those things. Next, I have the music app, and I am an avid Apple Music listener, and of course, I'm listening to Kendrick Lamar at the moment. Next is the Gmail app, and I use this app instead of the regular installed mail app because it's a little bit more easier to understand and it's a little bit more convenient than the regular app. I like this one a lot better. And I have Google Calendar as well because that one is also a little bit more resourceful than the pre-installed calendar on the iPhone. Next, I have Evernote, and this is where I keep article ideas, or if something pops into my brain, I'll write it down in there. And I also have Google Drive because you always have to review some type of something, and I keep this for all of my classes and also some Fresh U type things. Um, Next is my phone and my settings. And in this folder, I have the news app, my camera, Instagram, Facebook. This is kind of where I keep like all of my camera stuff and just other apps that I don't use as often. And you slide over to the right, and I have a bunch of other miscellaneous apps. This is my YouTube app where I use to just check sub counts or analytics, things like that. Um, Also, I have things with books. I love to read Wattpad, and I also have the Bible app. And I use this app called Countable because it's basically like a politics app. And let me see, it's like all you do is sign in with where you live, and it shows you who your representatives are in Congress, and you get to see how they voted, and you also get to vote on different bills to see like how you feel about them as a person. Next we have these. This is just miscellaneous apps that I have. I have NBC Sports and watch ESPN because I will watch my boyfriend's games sometimes. So yeah, just random things. Next, I have my food apps, and this is just what I use if the caf isn't working or if I don't feel like driving, and I'll use Uber Eats or Postmates, or I'll order Blaze Pizza online, and it's thebomb.com. If you have Blaze, go find it somewhere, like just eat all the pizza. It's amazing. Next I have this, and this is just a bunch of random, really random apps that I have on here. So for the most part, this is what my phone looks like. If you are in college, you definitely need to have some type of social media because it's how most people promote. Like if you just do your hashtag, you're most likely to see what's going on around campus. Like all of these are promotions, all of them. So that's what social media is really good for. You should definitely have some type of app that is relevant to your school and also something for your grades. If your school does use Blackboard, I would suggest that the Blackboard app um, isn't really the best, but it's kind of convenient at times. So you just have to be really patient with it. And this is a sneak peek of the classes that I take for this semester. You should definitely have Google Docs on here and also the mail app because you're always going to be sent some type of mail. So this is what I have for now, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye.